Hello and welcome back to Sonic Superstars with me, Matthew Caddis, aka Puggy. So, Press Factory Zone is another interesting zone and probably the best in terms of the June Sonoy tunes, because there is in the background a giant pounding press which will indeed cause a lot of trouble for Sonic because it will push him upwards, which also stunts his mobility in terms of that. So yeah, another thing of note is this bit with the thing which is right out of something like, well, dare I say, Sonic Colors, and a gimmick that was using Sonic Colors. Those, basically what you have to do is use the planks to launch yourself towards it, in the same way as one of the acts in Sonic Colors. I believe it was Act 6, yeah, it was Act 6. And there's a lot of detail going on in this thing. The most annoying thing, other than the press in the background, or the giant pounding press in the background, is of course those stupid octopus badniks. Seriously, they are very annoying to deal with, mostly because of how the fact that you think you can attack them, but you can't. They have electric force fields, and I also like the fact that we actually have something that looks like, well, the Nunu from Teletubbies. Seriously, that's what it reminds me of, but this one actually doesn't suck up a thing, but it actually, dare I say, just causes a lot of trouble. And yes, a variation on the old Crusher is still here as well in this level. So yeah, and we're going through this shit again. Yeah, the Crushers are a pain. And yes, I like the fact that they, in this level, they aren't just the normal Crushers you would expect in a 2D Sonic game. They actually behave with the giant press that's going on in the background. Seriously. So yeah, in my opinion, this is the favorite of my, dare I say, June Sonoy tracks. The next level, Golden Capital, I do not like in terms of music. Maybe in terms of the second act boss, because, oh boy, the second act boss I do not like at all. We'll get to that though. For now, let's go through this level, and indeed, yeah. I mean, that pounding press even stops your spin dash, seriously. It's a right pain in the arse, and a very good gimmick though. I will give this game that. So yeah, the only way you can avoid it really is if you're in midair. So using the bullet power up is probably imperative in certain areas. Of course, and then there's this bit. We've already gone over this. The difference is that unlike with Sonic Colors, is less annoying and it doesn't grow bigger, does the vortex around which you're spinning and everything, so yeah. But other than that, yeah, giant pounding press, yada yada yada. I died to those fucking badniks, seriously. The Act 1 boss, well, it's an interesting one. We're dealing with a giant robot gorilla who seemingly is pounding on the gears and pulling something similar to what happened in both Metallic Madness and before that even. Dare I even say it? Scrap Brain Zone. The annoying thing about this boss is that when you can damage him, he will start jumping around and creating his own electric force field. And yes, just like with Scrap Brain Zone, these pounders will crush you in one hit. Yes, I know my Sonic shit, seriously. So yeah. So you can apparently attack this robotic Donkey Kong from below. Yeah, I wonder what the real Donkey Kong would think about that, seriously. But never mind that. Yeah, I do not like the electric force field. Again, you can do the whole gamble thing and actually lose your emeralds. He only goes down, actually, in 3 hits, to be fair, in in the main story mode. A few more in the trips mode, but none of the main story mode, making him one of the easier bosses, actually, to be honest. But anyway, that being said, let's go on to Act 2, because Act 2 changes things even further with the whole level design, because what will happen now is things will start to cave in and the whole factory explodes in a similar way to Oil Ocean in Sonic Mania, seriously. Though unlike with Oil Ocean, at least with this level, it is less annoying in terms of choking yourself to death. The whole thing with Act 2 is that we have a giant drone in the background, and you will note that there are a bunch of switches throughout the level. That is because throughout the level, the giant floating drone in the background will count down towards your demise, and pressing each of the green buttons with Eggman's face on it will actually stop the countdown. So yeah. So you do not want to let this thing kill you. An interesting design, to be fair, and very different to, dare I say, something like Oil Ocean, where you were just trying to stop the thing. And pressing each of the green switches is a bit easier than in Mania. And dare I even say it because of that, because all you have to do is step on them, by comparison to actually having to jump high enough to reach them in say like Oil Ocean in Sonic Mania. Also returning from the, I guess, the Game Gear version of Sonic 2 are the things that were in Gimmick Mountain Zone, for example. But yeah, don't let it go to red, seriously. If it goes to red, you're doomed, seriously. Seemingly even when it's a yellow, the switch turns off the countdown, so I do like that. But never mind that, let's go through here and turn off the thing. Again, you even get these pots here, very weird, but quite fun to deal with as well. But anyway, yeah, the weird thing is the thing caving in as well. It's easy to get lost though in Act 2 as well because of the whole makeup of the level. It is absolutely huge, and I don't just mean the thing. And it's easy to die to the spikes because you're trying to find the next switch, of course, and whatnot. I'm going the wrong way, but maybe not. So yeah, why am I using bullet? I do not know, because that is just going back the way I came, and I should not have done that really, but still works, I guess. And apparently I'm doing a super peel out, which, yeah, you can do in this game. Seriously. But no, or at least the figure 8 dash. Maybe not the super peel out. Yeah, just a reminder, giant killer drone in the background! Seriously, you do not want to go near that thing. And death again. Towards the end of the level, believe it or not, there is a rocket you have to get on in order to escape the drone and run into the next boss. Seemingly, the next boss, strangely enough, does not play the regular boss theme. There is actually a secondary boss theme, which is slightly better than the da-da-da-da-da music that I also hate. But here's the rocket you go on, and I believe this is, you actually do control this rocket, so yeah. Meanwhile, a bunch of missiles fly at you, and yeah, and then you fall down in a similar way to there's a Stardust Speedway in Sonic Mania. I wonder if this game could have easily been the sequel to Sonic Mania with sprites, but I don't know. We'll never get to know what it would have looked like with, well, more of T-Lop's music and the, more of the gameplay from Sonic Mania that was done by Christian Whitehead. Anyway, here's our next boss, which is Eggman in a giant walker with his own pounding press, seriously. And just like in Act 1, this will throw you in the air. Think of it similar to when we were facing the Koopalings in Super Mario Brothers. Well, Super Mario Brothers 3 would be the closest one, but there's also a Super Mario World, actually. So yeah, Eggman will pound 3 times, and you can either use the pounding press to get him, or you can do it while sneak up behind him, or while he uses the pounding press, jump up in the air and do it that way. The only downside is that each of the platforms that you will need to reach Eggman are quite high up, so yeah, not great. Again, another thing, you could use Bullet to get him, which would negate the problem of having to get around him. Honestly, this Act 2 boss I like. As I say, not nearly as bad as Golden Capital, but we'll get to that. After a while, he will jump in the air and try and pound the ground that way. Although there's some spikes around the back, so maybe that's not great. But yeah, an interesting boss indeed. But be careful, as I say. When Eggman lowers himself, that's when you attack there. Much better than the thing there, at least. I should have really used the avatar power to get an extra hit in. Seriously, that's the main problem I have with Superstar's bosses here. Especially since what Eggman can do with his pounding press Eggomatic is pretty much, never say destroy you, destroy the metal things with it. Seriously. Which isn't great. Honestly, yeah, not one of my favorite. Actually, no, much better boss than the last one. And then he'll start shooting the electric bursts if I move his cockpit sideways. Not great, but there you go. Anyway, that was that boss. So I'll see you on the next one when we head to Golden Capital. I'll see you then. Goodbye.